Hello and welcome to Bible in a Year. This is the Old Testament part. My name is Ali and today is day 10, September the 10th, and we are looking at Genesis 21 to 23. And the thing I'd love us just to ponder on and look at through these passages today is thinking about our God who makes promises and who keeps his promises. And that's exactly what we see happening in the passage today. It starts off with this joy that God's outlandish promise that Abraham and Sarah in their old age would have a child, and they do. They have Isaac, and there's great rejoicing on the birth of Isaac, on this promise fulfilled. But then things move on not such a nice vein to the fact that Ishmael, who is the son born to Abraham and his servant Hagar, he starts mocking Isaac, and Sarah demands that they are turfed out, that they're sent on their way. And Abraham does not like this at all, but God says, trust me, I'll keep my eye on them, and that Ishmael himself will become a great nation. And as they go out into the wilderness, they find themselves in great distress, and they call out to God, and God hears them. And so even in the midst of this, the not nice part of this story, we just see God is faithful in keeping his promise. The name Ishmael means God hears, and God heard them, and Ishmael did in fact go on to have descendants and to be that great nation. And then we move on to the next part of our reading, which is not only about something to do with how we treat the promises of God, but also hidden in this passage is an amazing promise of God. So uncomfortably, Abraham is asked by God to take his son, his only son, whom he loves, and to go and sacrifice him. And that is really uncomfortable, and that doesn't sit well with us at all. But I think one message within that is, how do we treat the promises of God? Do we worship them? Do we idolize those things that God has spoken into our life? Do we love those things and hold on to those things even more than we hold on to God? And that always needs from time to time reviewing of the things that God has given us and the things that he has promised us. We need to make sure that we don't love, worship and adore those things more than we worship God himself. And so perhaps to challenge that, God says, okay, I want you to do this thing of obedience for me. And so they go on this journey, Abraham and his son Isaac. And as Abraham is about to make the sacrifice, God says no, and instead says that he's going to provide something else. And he does, he provides a ram, but what he says he's going to provide is a sheep. And that points us, along with the bit at the beginning, take your son, your only son whom you love, that points us to a promise that God is making, that God is hiding almost, even in this part of the Bible. It's like a whisper, it's like a hint that more is to come, that years and years and years later, Jesus himself would become that sacrifice. He would be the provision. He would be the bloodshed. He would be all that we needed to make a way. And it says, on the mountain of the Lord, he will provide. And that is exactly what he did through Jesus. He is a God who makes promises. He is a God who keeps his promises. And that is our God. Have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.